Today's video is not the latest Liam Neeson film, but it does star a product with a very specific set of skills. Today, we're taking a look at a brand new reel from the guys at Spomb. Let's go. So here it is, the Spomb X Reel, a purpose-designed tool for all of your spomming and spodding needs. Designed right here in the UK to ensure that durability, efficiency and reliability were all top of the tree features. Now, a spodding or spomming reel goes through some serious abuse while out on the bank, so who better to design one than the guys that have built the nation's favourite baiting device. The Spomb X Reel, as I said, has been specifically designed for spomming and spodding, so it's able to handle the heavy weights, the long distances, that is all incorporated with that style of fishing. Quite often you'll see a spod reel on the market, and unfortunately it is just a rebranded surf reel from another country. They simply slap a spod logo on the side of it, and because it's got a quicker than average retrieve, apparently that counts as being a spod reel. Well, that's not the case here, because as I said, this has been designed from the ground up to ensure that every step of the way, this thing is an absolute animal. A spomb or spod reel is probably one of the most used tools while you're out on a session. That being said, they are often one of the most mistreated. They get covered in water and dirt and excess bait, and all we do, if they're really lucky, is we give them a rinse off in the lake at the end of the session. Now obviously that's not really the way to look after a fishing reel, but it is something that we pretty much all do. And that is one of the reasons that these sort of rebranded surf reels really don't last that long. Luckily, the Spomb X has got a couple of really nice features that will not only make your baiting up easier and more efficient, but you'll know this reel will last the test of time. So starting at the top of the reel, we have got a 25 kilogram rated quick drag clutch. Now this is something that's actually really quite important on a spomming or spod reel. A standard reel normally has a drag rating of around 10 kilos. And if you're trying to cast a large spomb to the horizon, there's a very good chance that that clutch is going to slip. When it does, if you're not wearing a finger stool, you probably will end up with a nasty cut on your casting finger. If you are wearing a finger stool, then you're probably going to end up either with a frap up around the butt ring of your rod or just a very inaccurate cast. Luckily, when you lock this thing down at that 25 kilogram rating, it is going absolutely nowhere. So big distances, heavy loads, not a problem for the Spomb X Reel. Inside of the spool, we have got carbon matrix washers. Not only do they help to give us that quick drag, which goes from completely locked up to free spool in roughly half a turn, but also they make sure that that 25 kilogram rated drag keeps its performance for the entire time that you own this reel. Moving further down the spool, the next thing you are probably going to notice is the impeccable line lay. The slow oscillation system that has been incorporated into this reel is absolutely fantastic, and it lays every single coil of braid exactly where it needs to be. Poor line lay can cause you all kinds of different issues, from frap ups to crack offs, and of course just reducing your casting distance. This slow oscillation system ensures that you get the very best out of every single cast that you do. There are also two line-friendly sprung line clips on the spool to make sure that you can hit your mark every single time without fear of damaging your braid. Now, while I've mentioned the braid, it's worth mentioning the spool capacity. These hold exactly 300 meters of 0.18 braid. And luckily, the guys at Spomb make spools of braid, which are exactly 300 meters of 0.18 braid. So that means you end up with absolutely no wastage, but also the perfect amount of braid on the spools, helping you to cast further with, again, reduced frap ups and crack offs, just trying to make life a little bit easier. As you can see, I went for the fancy red colour, mainly because it sets off the accents of the reel, but also it just helps a little bit when wrapping up. You'll probably also notice that I've got a shock leader on there, but this is not any old shock leader. This is an industry first, the first of its kind, and it is a tapered braided leader. Now, obviously, there have been tapered main lines and tapered leaders made from mono for quite some time, but when it comes to braid, as I said, this is the first one that's available. It goes from £20 up to £50, and what that means is that where you're joining it to your mainline braid or your spomming braid, it's almost the exact same diameter, so you end up with a really small leader knot. Helps casting, and it absolutely flies through the guides. You don't even notice that the knot is there. They come on a spool of 3, each being a 10-metre length, and the best thing to do is trim them down to make them suit your setup from the £50 end. It's just a really nice, simple way to get an extremely strong and reliable setup. Moving down again, we get to the rotor, and this has a nifty little feature in the form of a rotor brake. When you open the bail arm, it almost helps to securely hold the rotor in place. This goes an extremely long way to helping to prevent you accidentally knocking that bail arm over during a cast and causing yourself a crack off. There is also no return ramp on this reel. Now, many of you will remember older style reels, as you crank the handle, the bail arm would flip back over. Well, this reel doesn't do that. And that again is just in case that you were to accidentally knock that handle during a cast. The last thing you want is that bail arm flicking over and instantly causing you a crack off. We've all been there, we've all done it. It's normally when a group of mates are stood behind you, and let's be honest, they won't let you live it down for the rest of the session. So anything that you can do to prevent a crack off is a win in my book. Moving down to the reel body itself, where everything possible has been done to keep the weight down to a minimum, but the durability up through the roof. A carbon composite material has been used in order, as I say, to give you that strength, that reliability that we all require, but keep the weight to a minimum. When you're baiting up, you are often holding the rod and reel for a very long period of time. It could be 50 repetitive casts to the same area. So keeping everything as lightweight and comfortable in the hand as possible is a real advantage. The total weight of this reel comes in at 603 grams, so it's certainly not heavy for the amount of durability that you're getting. On the side of the reel body, you'll see a screw head. When you remove that, you'll get access to the internal lubrication port. This enables you to lubricate the internals of the reel should you need to as it ages, and it just means that you haven't necessarily got to send it off for a service, so you can keep that new reel feeling. On the underside of the reel, you'll find an easily accessible anti-reverse switch and, of course, a nice, comfortable rubberized handle for cranking spombs in from any distance. Moving on to the internals, this is where the true power and reliability of the Spomb X Reel comes from. A combination of high strength, high spec, aluminium and brass, precision machine cut gearing that some reel manufacturers can only dream of. This reel really is the Rolls-Royce of spomming or spodding reels, and in all honesty, I wouldn't have expected anything less from the guys at Spomb. The finest of precision machining has been used to get the gearing just right, and it gives you a ratio of 5.2 to 1, meaning that the Spomb X Reel cranks in 124 centimetres of line per handle turn. So no matter how far out you're fishing, those spombs will be flying back to you just as quick as they flew out there. Now, it's all very well having super posh internals. It's a very premium product, and because of that, you almost expect those shiny bits to be inside. That being said, if they are not protected from the elements, from the dirt, the water and the bait, it means absolutely nothing. Luckily, the Spomb X Reel is sealed from top to bottom. The drag, the rotor, the body, there is no chance of any water, dirt or bait getting inside of this reel. And that is the real star of the show. That is what's going to make this reel last as long as it will. So I think that's pretty much everything that you need to know about the Spomb X Reel, apart from, of course, the all-important cost. I purchased this one from my local tackle shop, 𝗖𝗔 Angling Centre, for £179.99. And that does put it right up there at the top of the premium market for spomm and spod reels. That being said, it is a specifically designed tool for a very specific job, not something which has just been rehoused or redesigned and slapped a logo on the side of it. It's a proper purpose-built tool. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much.